Greetings and welcome to today's session. In this session, I'll be taking you through the scoring guide to Wakissha Joint Mock Assessment, Chemistry Paper 1. We have been going through a number of mock assessment of 2025, and today I've come with another set of assessment of Chemistry Paper 1, and that is for this body called Wakissha Joint Mock Examination. This is paper 1, and we know very well that this paper 1 takes 2 hours. It takes 2 hours, and we need to maximize all the scores in this paper. There are 6 items, and a learner is supposed to do a maximum of 4 items. 2 items from section A, which are compulsory, and then we choose 1 item from each part in section B. For us today, we shall be looking at the scoring guide to all the 6 items. So pay much attention as you go through a step-by-step approach to every item, but also as we look at the common errors that learners make as they're approaching items to Chemistry Paper 1. I know we are preparing for UNEB, especially to my candidates of 2025, and this is a critical piece, a masterpiece for each one of us as we continue to understand the answering approach and also understanding how we can always interpret different scenario items. Let's dive into section A. Section A consists of items which are compulsory, 2 items, and this is our item number 1. It is saying 2 children studying in a boarding school came home for holidays. They spent the following day with their parents working at the farm. In the evening, the children felt headache. I'll be spotting out key points. Felt headache, and their father took them to the clinic where they were given tablets. Okay. On reaching home, the elder one took the tablets, but the younger one feared and decided to mix lemon juice and ginger extract in hot water and drank a cup. After a few hours, the young one still complained that there was little relief and wondered why, and the child has come to you for help. So in this scenario, when we read this scenario very well, we see that it is coming from that subtopic of chemicals of consumers and a subtopic of medicines. Are we seeing that? This is for medicines. And there's this point that I have highlighted here, that they felt headache after working in the farm for the whole day. So when they came back in the evening, they're feeling headache. This is pain. Don't forget that medicines are categorized according to their sources and according to their functions. And according to the source, we have those which are called traditional medicines and those we call the modern medicines. Now, even these traditional and modern medicines can be further categorized into according to their function. We have those which work on pain, the painkillers, the ones we call the analgesics. Then those which work on bacterial infections, the ones we call antibiotics. And then the other ones which work on the head, the brain issue, those ones we call the psychotherapeutic medicines. But in this case, when you look at this scenario, there is some pain somewhere there, headache, that is the pain. Therefore, we are looking at that kind of medicine which deals with pain, which we call the analgesic medicines. Now, we see these people went to the doctor and they bought medicine. The elder took the medicine, but the younger feared and mixed his lemon and ginger extract. So after a few hours, we see a young one still complaining there was still there was little relief, and is wondering why, and then this child has come to you for the help. So, task: as a chemistry student, help the children to understand how the nature of the product suits their work. We need to understand what these products that these two people used are. Which products did they use? Which means, in simple terms, they want to help this learner understand the category of the medicine they used, but also we see how they do their work, how they function. I believe if you read very well through our work, when you look at the younger boy, this younger child is mixing lemon juice and ginger extract, while the other one went to the doctor and they gave them tablets which he was able to take. So we can see that this elder child is taking the one which is modern, while this one is using available plant materials, the lemon and ginger, to mix, and those ones are the ones we call the traditional medicines. So one person is using the modern, the elder, and the younger is using the tradition. But now, one thing which is in common is that all the two are using analgesic medicines. Are you seeing that? So, in simple terms, if we are to categorize this, we can say the elder child used modern medicine or synthetic drugs, which is the analgesic. Okay? While the young one took traditional analgesic medicine. Good. So you have been able to help these children to understand that one of them used the modern analgesic medicine, while the young one used the traditional analgesic medicine. But also want to see how the products should perform their work. And we are saying that analgesic medicine work by inhibiting the transmission of pain signals to the brain, hence relieving pain. So that is how they work. And you're able to get all your scores. If you put all that, you're able to get all your scores. Please, if you have any other idea on that, make sure you put it in the comment section, and we keep on sharing. We said sharing is a key, and if you don't share, surely that is very bad, because already what you're getting now, I'm trying to share with you what is available. So also get time and share what you have with another person. For those who have not yet grabbed this copy, we have the practical book and also the one for paper 1. This book, paper 1, called Remedy to Chemistry, is a masterpiece that each one of you, whether a teacher or a learner, you need this book. It has the approach, the elements of construct summarized, and each and every topic, under every element of construct, there's an item that we have put there. So we have solutions to every item, but also we have spaces for a learner to practice, the items for a learner to practice, both in this practical book and also this one for Remedy. So let's endeavor to get a copy, and you keep on practicing in your own time. Let's look at part B. Now, in part B, they're saying explain what would happen to the elder. This elder child is the one who used the modern medicine. Are you seeing that? Is the one who used this modern medicine. So they're saying explain what would happen to the elder child after using the tablets for a long period of time. Are you seeing that they need the side effect of this, of using the modern medicine for a long period of time? And you recall, when we talk about the side effects, we don't forget to talk about the mitigation. We still use our DEM, the danger, the effect of using it for a long time, its effect, and the mitigation. Let's look at this point. I want to put the whole point there so that you can see. So I'm saying that continuous use of synthetic medicine, of course, that is what the older child is using, elder child. can cause drug resistance. Now, this is the danger. You think that? Where the body no longer responds effectively to drug, that's leading to the damage. Now, that is the effect. Don't forget, we are putting our point in terms of them. The danger, the effect, and the mitigation. So I'm saying that continuous use of this synthetic medicine can cause drug resistance, that is a danger, where the body no longer responds effectively to the drug, thus leading to the damage to organs such as liver, stomach, ulcers, and kidney failure due to accumulation of chemical residues. So that is our effect. Now, this one which I've put highlighted, it is another effect that it can also bring to addiction or allergic reaction. But I've highlighted it because we need only one. Then we're saying these dangers can be mitigated by using tablets only under medical prescription or observing correct dosage and combining them with good diet and rest. So you can see we have gotten all the 3 scores and we have summarized this into them: the danger, the effect, and the mitigation. So you are able to get your 3 scores. Now let's look at the last part. The last part was saying, explain to the children why the process of healing was not the same. You recall, we have 2 children, and one of them, after some time, came back saying there was little relief, the younger one, and yet the older one was better. Now the question is why? So we want to explain. Now, in this case, this is another way of evaluating. This was a good question. This is another way that we can do evaluation of the products that they are using. Don't forget, they're all using analgesic medicines, though one is using the modern, another one is using the tradition. So in this case, we want to evaluate. And in my evaluation here, I've given a similarity and a difference. Let's have a look. I've given a similarity and a difference. So when I'm explaining, I say that both modern and traditional analgesic medicine help in healing. Isn't that one a similarity? They are also helping healing the pain. Maybe we can even put, or relieving the what? The pain. You will put it there. Relieving the pain. Now, look at the difference which we have put. But the elder child experienced faster recovery because the modern analgesic tablets contain standardized doses of strong active ingredients. Are you seeing that? While the younger child took traditional analgesic with weaker concentration of active compounds and without precise dosage. You recall, in those traditions, you prepare your extract from lemon, from what, and then you take. The dosage is not clear. Maybe this child took underdose. Are you seeing that? So it has no precise dosage. So as a result, the relief was slower and less effective. So you can see that you are able to get your 3 scores. So this number 1, we can see that you can score it out of 0, 9. Out of 0, 9. Every part taking 3 scores. And I believe we have been able to see how best we can approach. Keep on pausing. You keep on pausing and then you note down. Pause, note down, so that you can have all this work in your notebook. Otherwise, having it in your head alone, other than putting it down, it may not be very nice. So have time, put it down, and then also don't forget to discuss with other friends of yours. I want us to go through item number 2. The scenario goes like this. Of late, there has been an outbreak of fire in crowded places like Nyirimbibi Market. This has prompted people to buy fire extinguishers. The fire extinguisher contains a substance Q of molecular mass 99.98, consisting 40% calcium, 12% carbon, and the rest being oxygen. Due to high demand, the government, through the Ministry of Energy, has set up a factory to produce fire extinguishers. However, the manager has failed to identify what Q is and has approached you for help. Hope we are moving together. You can even pause, you first read through the question again, and then you even first try it out before looking at my responses. Hint, they have given you the hint. In the fire extinguisher, the acid reacts with Q as follows. Oh, are you seeing that? In the fire extinguisher, the acid reacts with Q as follows. So acid, when it reacts with Q, it reacts with, it forms solution of Q and gaseous product. They have even given us the RAM for calcium, RAM for carbon, and RAM for oxygen. I believe we are seeing it very well. Now the task. I just want to bring the task. Okay. The task is here. The scenario is still there and also the task. Using your chemistry knowledge, help the manager to know Q and give the category of compound to which it belongs. So in this, they want you to help the manager to understand what Q is. After understanding what Q is, you also help the manager to to identify where the Q belongs. Where does Q belong? Now, what is Q? They have said that Q consists of 40% calcium. Now, when you have 40% calcium, we have 40% calcium. We have 12% of oxygen, of carbon, and the rest being oxygen. So which means we need to get the percentage composition of oxygen. Percentage composition of oxygen, we can get it by saying 100 minus this 40 plus 20. What is the answer? We can get our percentage composition of oxygen as this is not 20. This is supposed to be 12. It is 12. Are you seeing it here? This is 12 and this is 40. What is 40 plus 12? You get 52. 100 minus 52, that is 48 percent. 48%. So we have been able to get the percentage composition of oxygen, but you recall it consists of calcium, carbon, and oxygen. In simple terms, we can first identify the molecular formula because they have given us even molecular mass of this substance. So when you identify the molecular formula of this substance, you can be able to categorize it to a given group because you'll be knowing what it is. Because molecular formula helps us to know the actual number of atoms present. I believe by now we know how to design that table of calculating empirical formula. So empirical formula, it is done in 4 stages. Number 1, writing the element with its symbol. So the elements present in Q, we have calcium, carbon, and oxygen, and the symbols are there. We have the symbols. Then after that, we can look at percentage composition. Of calcium, we saw it is 40, carbon it is 12, and oxygen is 48. Okay. Then after that, we can put the number of moles. We know that number of moles is equal to the given mass over molar mass, or over RAM, over molar mass or the RAM, relative atomic mass. So when you come here, because we have our composition in terms of percent, So we leave it as our mass, which is the 40 for calcium, over what is the molar mass of calcium. They gave it once. When you check there on the hint, it is here. They gave it once as 40. So 40 over 40 is equal to 1. So that is the number of moles of calcium. Then for carbon, we do the same. It has percentage composition of 12. When you divide by its RAM, atomic mass, that is 12, which is still giving us what? 1. Then oxygen, we have 48. We divide by its atomic mass, which is 16, and we're able to get 3. So after getting the number of moles, then you can get the simplest ratio. The simplest ratio, we get it by dividing by the number of moles of each atom by the smallest number of moles. So the smallest among these, here we have 1, 1, 3, so the smallest remains as 1. So we divide 1 by 1, which is 1. Then here 1 by 1 we also get 1. Then 3 divided by 1 we get what? 3. So finally, we can see that the ratio of atoms, we have 1 atom of calcium, 1 atom of carbon, and 1 atom of, the 3 oxygen atoms. So which means our empirical formula can be summarized as calcium with 1 atom, carbon with an atom, and oxygen, which are 3, and you'll be able to get your score. But this is empirical formula, and for us to know the actual number of atoms present in a given compound, we need to find what we call the molecular formula. So we can get the molecular formula since we already have the molecular mass. We have the molecular mass. We know very well that for us to get the molecular formula, we get empirical formula times n. So empirical formula, we already have it. It is there. So when you get this empirical formula and multiply by n, where n is what? Let's look at this. We know that n, we can get it by getting the molecular mass divided by empirical formula mass. So which means we can first get the empirical formula mass, which is here, and we got 100. Then molecular mass is given in the scenario. They gave us 99.98. So when you divide by 100, you are able to get 0.9998, which is approximately equal to 1. So after that, we can get our 1 and we substitute it here where there is n. And finally, we are able to get our molecular formula as that. So that is our substance. So these people were confused of which substance is this. And the substance Q, we have seen that is actually calcium carbonate from after determining its molecular formula. So after determining its molecular formula and getting that is calcium carbonate, then we can come and we respond again to the question that we say that substance Q is calcium carbonate, that is the category, is the example we are talking about, which is an ionic compound. You recall in number 2, when we are categorizing, we use CRE. We give category with the reason, and then we give the example. So we have the example, which is calcium carbonate, and then ionic compound, that is the category. Then we give the reason. So I say it is ionic compound because it is formed by the electrostatic attraction between positively charged calcium ions and negatively charged carbonate ions. So you also get your score. So that was our number 2, part 1. You can, let me go back and we see what I was saying. They're saying that help the manager to know Q. Have you helped the manager to know Q? Yes. And give the category of the compound to which it belongs. So I believe we have been able to respond to that task very well. Let's look at part B. Give the suitability of substance in a fire extinguisher that really stops the fire. Now, the substance, don't forget that when you go back to the scenario, the substance they are talking about here It is here, substance Q. The fire extinguisher contains a substance Q of molecular mass this. And now here they are saying that we give the suitability of this substance in a fire extinguisher that really stops the fire. So is it calcium carbonate that stops the fire? There is a hint they gave to us that when this substance reacts with the acid in the fire extinguisher, it produces a solution of Q and the gaseous product. So when we talk about the calcium carbonate, which we are talking about now, because the substance, you know it, calcium carbonates react with acid and release carbon dioxide. Are you seeing that? Now, the carbon dioxide which is released is the one which helps in putting off the what? The fire. And we are saying that number one, it is non-flammable and prevents further burning. It is heavier than air, so it forms a blanket over flames, cutting off the oxygen. And then we are saying that the reaction of calcium carbonate, which is acid, is fast and produces large amounts of carbon dioxide quickly, ensuring that the fire is extinguished effectively. So you can see that we have been able to give the suitability of the substance in the fire extinguisher. So what happens? It first reacts with acid and produces the gaseous product, and this gaseous product we are talking about is the carbon dioxide. Let's look at the last part. The last part is saying, give an advice to the company on the effects of the factory's existence. So you recall this factory is going to be producing the fire extinguishers, and they need that substance which is needed to be put in the fire extinguisher, which is the calcium carbonate. So we have seen that during the production of this factory, if it is existing in a given area, the advice we are going to give these people is to tell them that this factory that we have can bring about this problem, which leads to this, but we can do this to prevent that problem. So in simple terms, in this advice, we are giving this the problem that can bring, its effect, and how that one can be mitigated. So we are saying that there could be the dust pollution, from calcium carbonate, which causes respiratory diseases. But we are saying, please, we can mitigate this by installing dust collectors and using protective masks. We need only 1 point, but we have given you a number of points which you can relate to. So also we have acid spills during production can cause burns and corrosion, but you can mitigate it by safe acid storage and spill control measures. So you can see all of them are having 3 scores. Then another one, wastewater effluent may alter, because waste effluent is that water which they have finished, like the one they use for cleaning and then it is released. So this wastewater effluent may lead to alter the water or soil pH, and this can be mitigated by neutralizing it before disposal. Then there is rejected canisters, which may cause solid waste pollution, and this can be mitigated by recycling. So you can find out which one is good, the one you can easily understand very well, and you are able to get your 3 scores by just giving out only 1 point. So friends, that is section A, and I want us to dive into section B. Now, for those who have not yet watched our previous facilitations about paper 1 and paper 2, let's go to the channel. You'll find there the facilitation for paper 1, but also I'll be able, when you check in the comment section, there is a link there which will direct you to that facilitation for paper 1, and it gives more other details on answering approach on each and every item. But of course, in this quality guide, I may not go back to those things. Instead of repeating ourselves, we go direct to the solution. So for you, when you get time, go to that link and then you'll be able to check on that work. I'll just be reminding us again about this book. Those ones who have not yet purchased this practical book, make sure you have it. This holiday, utilize this holiday and get your copy. You have this one for paper one. Don't forget to get your copy as early as now. So get that. You can inbox on email or on WhatsApp, or any of those numbers. I'll be able to respond to you as fast as possible. Let's go to section B, part 1. There we go. One thing we know about section B, part 1 is that this is the part which is talking about the industrial processes. So item 3 and item 4 are industrial processes, and the learner is supposed to select only one item. But of course, because for us we're looking at our guide, we shall respond to all the 3 items. So what do we need to do? We need to read the scenario very well, and then we identify the product that we are producing. Which product, which industrial process are we talking about? So that you don't manufacture what is not asked in the question. Let's go through this scenario, and then we identify the product that is being talked about here. So item 3 says, sodium hydroxide is useful chemical compound that is used in different chemical processes, like in the manufacture of soap, which is a major cleaning agent. Due to its benefits, the Ministry of Trade wants to start producing sodium hydroxide locally in order to cut costs incurred during transportation. However, environmentalists and some local leaders are worried about the impact of the plant, and the government is planning sensitization of the communities about sodium hydroxide production. Task: as a chemistry student, write an article to the local newspaper to sensitize the people on the plant being established. Which plant are we establishing in this area? Is the plant which manufactures sodium hydroxide. In simple terms, the industrial process we are looking at here is the manufacture of sodium hydroxide. What we know in this part is that we look at 4 things. Number 1, we look at the raw material which we need to manufacture this product. After that, the process of production. And this process of production should include the vessels, the chemical processes, the conversion to the desired product, the physical properties, the purification process. So those are things that we need to include in our process of production. Then after that, we look at the side effects of the production process. So what are the side effects of the production process of sodium hydroxide? We put them down. And then lastly, we look at the social benefits of the production process of that product. So we are going directly to our response as we look at the manufacture of sodium hydroxide. Let's go direct to the response. So our raw material, let me have it like that. So our raw material, we have concentrated sodium chloride solution, and we say that another name to mean concentrated sodium chloride solution, we can also call it brine. So whoever puts brine or you put concentrated sodium chloride solution, it will still be correct. Then we go to the process of production. So the process of production is saying that during the mercury cell, concentrated sodium chloride, which is our raw material, is fed in the cell as an electrolyte using graphite as anode and mercury as the cathode. Okay. At the cathode, both sodium and hydrogen ions migrate towards the cathode for discharge. But sodium ions is preferentially discharged to hydrogen ions since it is very concentrated, since it is very concentrated. So the sodium ions undergo reaction by gain of electrons and get deposited at the mercury cathode to form sodium mercury amalgam, which is dissolved in water to form sodium hydroxide, purified and concentrated and stored. I think this is one of the process of production that is very nice and very simple to get in our Minjura and Bolongata. So some of the equations, and one person was asking, is it necessary for us to put equations? If you know them, why not putting them down? Put the equations down and you show, but we have already mentioned them up. You can use even word equation. So if you know them, put them down and you show that you're a chemist. Then after that, we can look at the side effects. Side effects of the production process. I'm putting it here so that we don't just put anything. It is side effects of the production process. One of the side effects is air pollution, and we explain how it comes about, its effect, and how it can be mitigated. So we are saying that air pollution from emission of chlorine, hydrogen gas, and particulate matter into the atmosphere. This reduces the air quality, leading to eye irritation, skin irritation, and breathing difficulty. This effect can be mitigated by enforcing proper use of personal protective equipment. I believe this is a very good point, pregnant point, and you can get all your 3 scores. We need only 1 point, which is very well explained like that. But for the case of our discussion, we have put even another point: water pollution from effluent discharge containing mercury and other contaminants. This lowers water quality and safety for both man and aquatic animals, leading to suffocation and death. This effect is mitigated by encouraging effluent treatment plant through neutralization, sedimentation, and filtration before discharge. So even when you put this point, you are able to get all your 3 scores. So make sure that your points you put down are pregnant points. It can give you all the 3 scores. So then lastly, we look at social benefit of the production process. And number 1, we're saying that is employment opportunity. That during the process of production of sodium hydroxide, there are employment opportunities to both the skilled, not skilled. I mean skills. It is both to the skilled. You write it very well. Both to the skilled and unskilled laborers in the area, hence earning income, and this enables them improve on their standards of living. Then another one, that it is the production process is source of government revenue through taxation. This supports government programs through infrastructure development, hence improving the standards of living of people and leading to the development of the country. So you can see it is a very good pregnant point. Hope we are moving together. Let's go through item number 4. We are not going to take much time. So item number 4. Let's read through and we find out what is it about. So the first one we have seen was about manufacture of sodium hydroxide. What about item 4? So let's read through and we find out. Iron metal is a crucial element in the production of steel, a fundamental material in modern construction, transportation, and industry. Recently, geologists discovered iron in Kigezi region, which attracted the attention of the Ugandan government to start a steel manufacturing plant that extracts and uses the iron for steel production. The company has little knowledge on the extraction process, and the locals are also complaining about what would be the effect of the plant on the environment. a team of experts has been sent with you to the area where the plant is to be established. As a chemistry learner, write a presentation to the people of the area to sensitize them. So in simple terms, what do they want us to talk about? Manufacture of iron. And the whole thing will remain as we have been looking at item 3. Still, we look at the 4 things. So we shall not take much time. Instead, we shall go directly to our response. Let's look at the responses. And the responses, we start with our raw material. So the raw materials for manufacture of iron, we have the iron ore, e.g. hematite. We have also the coke, we have limestone, and we have the air. So those are some of the raw materials for our manufacture of iron. Then we go to process of production. So in this process, we said that we talk about the raw materials, we talk about the vessels, chemical processes, physical processes, conversion to desired product, and also the purification. So we shall be able to see whether all those have been included. So iron is extracted from its ore using blast furnace. That is a vessel that we use. So hematite, coke, and limestone are in these raw materials, yes, are mixed together and introduced into the blast furnace from the top up where hot air is forced. As hot air rises up the furnace, it reacts with coke to form carbon dioxide. That is the chemical process that we are seeing here. And we have the coke, which is carbon, reacting with oxygen to form carbon dioxide. So as the carbon dioxide formed rises up the furnace, it is reduced by the unburnt coke to carbon monoxide. Okay, that is another chemical process, and even its equation is there. It is reduced by the unreacted coke to carbon monoxide, and then the carbon monoxide then reduces hematite to molten iron. So the carbon monoxide is the one which reduces the hematite into iron. The molten iron then sinks to the bottom of the furnace where it is tapped off. The limestone decomposes into calcium oxide, which reacts with the sand, a major impurity in hematite, to form slag, which drops to the bottom of the furnace and floats on top of molten iron. And we can see some of the equations. Then, purification process. The iron obtained is impure and can be purified by converting it into wrought iron by oxidizing the impurities, and you get all your scores. You get all the scores on this process of production. It's not a must that they have to be 3 scores on that, but the examiner is the one who will determine how many scores to put on yours. What you need to do is to make sure that you're putting the right content. Side effects, we had already looked at them. We shall just mention a few. That emission of poisonous gases, that is a danger, leading to air pollution, and this can be mitigated by treatment of these gases before emission to the atmosphere. So I believe that is okay. And then you have also another point. We say that these points, we can give one which is very well explained. We also have that one. What I'm saying, just you note them down, you pause, and then you'll be able to get all scores. But we have put 3 points, though we need only one, which is very well explained. But for the case of our discussion, we have given you a number of them. Then social benefits of process of production. All these we have talked about them. Source of employment opportunities, which leads improved income and therefore improved standards of living. And you can get all your 3 scores. So even here you get all your 3 scores. But the 3 scores, they don't go on the 3 points. The 3 scores, it's on 1 point, which is very well explained. So these other points are for our case of revision, so that we can have a variety of those items. Let's go to section B, part 2. Now, section B, part 2, this is one of the most interesting area, which I believe by now most of us have mastered, and you can't allow any number to fail you, which is under this section. We are going to go through the solutions to this paper, and don't forget that more other upcoming sessions, we shall be looking at more other mock papers, but also looking at other topics. If there is any topic that has disturbed you from the beginning and you feel that we need to talk about it, put it there in the comment section so that we can be able to go through that topic. And for those who have not joined our online classes, just join us in the box on my number. I know you can get it in the bio. Get my number in box, and then you can join us in the online classes so that we can deal with those other topics that are disturbing you on another level of discussion, one-to-one discussion. So in section B, part 2 is about natural resources. Natural resources are categorized majorly into two: the renewable natural resource and non-renewable natural resource. So in this area of part 2, what we are supposed to do is to read the scenario and we find out which natural resource is being affected. And then we identify which human activity is also affecting that natural resource, or the human activity that is affecting the environment. So what do we do to the two that we have identified? So when you identify the natural resource, then we need to categorize it. In simple terms, the natural resource we are talking about, natural resource, we categorize it, we give the reason, and we also have the example. In simple terms, we are summarizing into CRE. In CRE. Then after that, we look at the human activity. Now, this human activity, which is affecting, we identify in the scenario the human activities that is affecting the natural resource or that is affecting the environment. So after identifying this human activity, tell us how it affects the environment or natural resource, and what do you need to give? You give its danger, its effect, and then you give us the mitigation. So those are, and then that is the, in simple terms, this is the natural resource which we have categorized. We have given the reason, we have given an example, and then we also give the composition of the natural resource. Then lastly, look at the importance of conserving the natural resource. Importance of conserving the natural resource. In simple terms, we need 3 paragraphs. The first paragraph talking about that, second paragraph talking about that, and the third paragraph talking about that. So those are the 3 things. And whatever we do on item 5 is the same thing that we do on item 6. So pay much attention on item 5. Then item 6, do it by yourself. So when we read this scenario, we are going to identify the natural resource which is being affected. We see how we categorize. We say that a category of this is either, we categorize it as renewable, which is either renewable or non-renewable. I believe we know that. It is either renewable or non-renewable resource. And then the reason, we give the fact. If you call it a renewable natural resource, tell us why you're calling it a renewable natural resource. And we know that the renewable natural resources are those ones which can easily be replenished. the ones that can easily be replaced once they are used up. Then there are those ones which cannot easily be replenished once they are used up, and those ones are the ones we call the non-renewable natural resources. So they're saying that, let's read through this. At Namamve Industrial Park, there exists many factories that dispose their wastes. Okay, that dispose of, there's another F here, that dispose of their wastes into water bodies around. The government, through the National Environmental Management Authority, has organized a sensitization workshop on the protection of the natural resources. You have been invited to talk to the workers. Task: in your opinion, as a chemistry learner, produce a write-up to these workers. This is all. To these workers and locals of the area. So which natural resource are we talking about? The natural resource we are talking about here, it is water. Water is being affected. And what are they doing? There exist many factories that dispose of their wastes. So the human activity is industrialization, and through this industrialization there is release of. So okay, the human activity we can talk about even disposing of the wastes into the water bodies. So the disposal of wastes. And the natural resource is water. So if we choose this water, which is the natural resource that is being affected majorly here, I don't think there is another one that is being affected. Majorly here we see water as a natural resource that is being affected. So we categorize it. Is it renewable or non-renewable? We give the reason. And then we give its composition. Then thereafter we go to paragraph 2. We do what it requires us to do, and then paragraph 3. So please make sure that if you don't have this paper for Wakissha in soft copy or hard copy, make sure that you're in a box, and then we can give it to you, the soft copy. If you're already in the group, I believe you have already accessed that, and you have a copy by yourself. So I want to present all the solution. Okay. So we start. The first paragraph is to identify the natural resource, which is water. So this is our category. Water is a renewable. This is our example, not category. Water is a renewable, which is our category, a renewable natural resource, because it can be replenished. That is the reason, through the water cycle. The rivers and streams around Namamve are examples, and water is composed of, this is the composition, hydrogen and oxygen, together with dissolved gases and salts. But when you give only these two, these are the major compositions of water, because it's composed of majorly hydrogen and oxygen. And you get your scores. You can see here we have 3 scores, and here you have 2 scores, and this first paragraph can give you around 5 scores. Then the second paragraph is where we talk about the human activity, how it affects environment, its danger, effect, and the mitigation. So let's see which human activity. So an activity which endangers this resource is the disposal of wastes, and we have seen it from industries. So disposal of wastes, that is the human activity, and they're saying that these effluents introduce harmful chemicals, that is a danger, leading to the death of aquatic organisms, which is the effect, and this impact can be mitigated by treating effluents before discharge. I think that you are able to get your 3 scores and pocket them very fast. We say that these are 5 scores. Then the last paragraph, we talk about the importance of conserving the natural resource. Which natural resource? The one that you talked about right away from the beginning, the water. Don't talk about water first and then later you talk about another natural resource like air. No. We're looking at the importance of conserving that natural resource that is being affected. So we're saying water enables rain formation. How? Which ensures, rain formation, which ensures continuous supply of fresh water for people and animals, and farming through natural water cycle of evaporation. So we can see that this is one point, but which can give you all the three scores. It has given us its important benefit, how it benefits, and then the why. The why is also there. So you can see at the end of it all, you can see that this can give you a maximum of 11 scores. The maximum of 11 scores. What about item 4 and 3? We said they can also give you a maximum of 11 scores. So you're going to try out this one. Try it out wherever you are, and then before you go to the last part, first try it out. Okay. So they're saying item 6, the recently discovered petroleum around Lake Albert has prompted the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Energy and Natural Resources to construct an oil processing plant in the area. But the authorities and people around the area are worried about the environmental problems that may arise as a result of drilling and processing oil. You have been invited on one of the activities of this industry task. As a chemistry learner, give your presentation. So you can see these tasks were very specific on particular natural resources. So here they are talking about the petroleum, and the human activity they are talking about is drilling and processing of petroleum or oil extraction. So still we do the same. The first paragraph is there. Petroleum, which is our example, is a non-renewable now, a category because it cannot be repressed within man's lifetime once used up. Then the petroleum is composed of mainly hydrocarbons such as alkanes, cycloalkanes, aromatic compounds. So here you get your 5 scores. One paragraph. After getting that, we go to the second paragraph where we're talking about human activity. One activity that endangers resources is the drilling and processing of crude oil. And they're saying during the drilling, oil spills and leakages may occur. That is a danger. Contaminating soil and water, killing aquatic life. This impact can be mitigated through proper spill control technology and regular maintenance of equipment and enforcing strict environmental standards. Here we have put a number of ways to mitigate, but of course you can choose only one, so you're able to get all your 3 scores. Then the last paragraph, we look at the importance of conserving our natural resource, which is the petroleum. So I'm saying that petroleum provides fuel, energy, such as petrol and diesel, which supports transport and industrial activities by burning hydrocarbons to release energy for running machines. So you get all your 3 scores, and then finally you are able to get the 11 scores. Yeah, so that marks the end of our Wakissha Chemistry Paper 1, and I'm saying keep enjoying the beauty of chemistry. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with your friends so that they always also benefit from whatever we are learning. If you have not yet subscribed, please click on that subscription button, but also click on that notification button. I don't know whether you know where it is. When you click on that notification button, you'll be able to receive updates of anything that we upload. We are coming towards UNEB, and a lot of things are going to be coming, that techniques of how to upload, the common errors, all those. We are going to be organizing different sessions. Make sure you don't miss out any of the session that we are going to produce. For those who have noted, just a reminder, don't forget to pick up your copy for practical and also for the remedy. This is the remedy to chemistry. If you have any challenge with paper 1, the remedy is there for you. Otherwise, it's Isaac Nyirimbibi who has been taking us through the whole of this session. Have a blessed time. God bless.